When scribing was first introduced, the sword and shield skill didn't really jump out to me as very good. It's always had some good affixes for tanks, along with some good signatures and focus scripts. However, I like tanking with double ice staff far more than with a sword and shield, so I brushed off the skill as something I'd probably never use. This all changed super recently when talking to a friend about the skill. He told me about a couple things the signature script Fencer's Parry can do, and I thought it would be really fun to test it more. In this video, I want to go over how Fencer's Parry works and some of the mechanics you can completely break by using it. For this video, so it's not a couple hours long, I'm only going over a few mechanics that Fencer's Parry can break. So starting off, how does Fencer's Parry actually work? When using Fencer's Parry, you will throw out your shield, and when you catch it, you gain a 3-second buff that will deflect the next direct attack made against you. This ability also has a 3-second cooldown. This allows you to take 0 damage from one direct attack made against you every 3 seconds. How far away you are from the target you throw the shield at will determine how long it takes for Fencer's Parry to actually activate. Since Fencer's Parry does not activate the second you cast the ability, you have to wait for it to return to your hand and then it will activate. This does mean in some applications like Talaria, it will be a lot harder to proc as she is technically super far away from you and it will take a while for Fencer's Parry to actually activate. The minimum time Fencer's Parry can take to activate is around 1 second. While at maximum range, Fencer's Parry can take upwards of 2 seconds to activate. To make Fencer's Parry as easy to activate as possible, you want to make sure you are close to the thing you are targeting when you use the skill. Before going over areas that the skill can be useful in, I want to go over one major downside to this skill. This downside can actually get you killed if you're not careful, as it will completely negate the effect of Fencer's Parry. Fencer's Parry can only deflect one direct attack. If you are trying to deflect the boss but an ad targets you before whatever you're trying to deflect hits you, the ad will easily eat the Fencer's Parry proc, meaning the boss's attack will go through and hit you. Fencer's Parry works on a 3-second cooldown, so if you would just use the skill and the Fencer's Parry proc is taken, you cannot use it again for 3 seconds. This can easily and probably will lead to you getting one-shot by whatever you're trying to deflect if you're not careful. But now that that's all out of the way, we can go over some instances of the skill breaking stupid mechanics. One I want to go over is an Oaks from Rockgrove. Oaks has a mechanic called Noxious Sludge. This puts a dot on you that drops AoEs at your feet constantly. This ends up being a major mechanic on hard mode due to him spawning ads that close the pools that you use to cleanse the poison. However, with Fencer's Parry, you can do this. This alone makes me think Fencer's Parry is going to get nerfed, as it completely negates the mechanic and deletes it from the fight. You can easily abuse this mechanic by having the tank stand outside of the flower field and have one of the other healers come in closer so that the main tank will catch the poison every time. If the main tank gets good enough at using Fencer's Parry, this can guarantee that only one person will ever be hit by the poison proc. This can just end up negating one of the major mechanics of hard mode, making it far easier. Recently, ZOS has been putting a lot of heavy attacks into the game that apply debuffs depending on whether or not you block them, face take them, or dodge roll them. These debuffs are usually pretty heavy on the tank, as they'll either put a heal absorb on the tank for quite a high heal amount, or they'll make the enemy do more damage, or the tank will take a lot more damage. With Fencer's Parry, however, we can completely ignore this entire mechanic, as Fencer's Parry will make the heavy attack do 0 damage, but since the heavy attack is still hitting something, the enemy will not enrage and you will not gain any of the debuffs from the heavy attack. I have so far not found a single enemy that applies these debuffs that can ignore the Fencer's Parry proc. This makes fights like the first boss from Dreadsail Reef and Sanity's Edge incredibly easy, as the main source of damage coming to the player is when they have the heal absorb applied to them. The last thing I want to go over with Fencer's Parry is just general use cases for when a boss has a super hard hitting attack like Talaria's heavy attack. You can use Fencer's Parry to negate a lot of the damage coming from it, as blocking it isn't really an option on hard mode and most people resort to dodge rolling it. However, with Fencer's Parry, you can just use the skill. If timed right, you can just eat the entirety of the heavy attack. Talaria is not the best example of this, as she is so far away from you that trying to time the Fencer's Parry with her heavy attack is almost impossible based solely on reaction time. You'd have to know when the heavy attack is coming beforehand. Overall, this last one isn't super important as you can just dodge roll most of these heavy attacks. However, with things that apply seethe and whatnot to themselves whenever you dodge roll, it is super great that you can just take 0 damage from their heavy, not get the heal absorb or the damage increase. There's so many examples of the skill being good. I don't have all of them, and there's probably some mechanics that I don't even know about that you can skip. However, looking for all of them and all of the content is super hard and time consuming, but these are just some of the bigger ones that I've noticed. But yeah, I just wanted to say the last video did really well, and I have really no idea why it did that. It was something small I've been wanting to make, and I really appreciate it. Hopefully you find something just as useful in this video, but that's about it.